Hey, good Saturday morning. Thanks for checking out the latest short-term update of what's still yet ahead across the Midwest. Still, it needs to be noted, this is still a highly volatile and tricky forecast. We have some model guidance that is just out in left field that doesn't really have any clue of what's going on down here across southern Illinois and even southern Indiana. And then we have other guidance that kind of is hitting it that doesn't suggest nearly as much dry time as some of the other data. So we'll go into the why behind the pattern here in a second, but this is the latest look at radar across the Midwest this morning. Showers and storms lifting northeast across Missouri, Illinois, starting down here in southern Indiana as well, and those will continue to push further north along a warm front that will be lifting further north later this morning and throughout the day, and that will actually lift temperatures as well, as there is a stark boundary of warm and cooler across the central part of the Midwest this morning. So to kind of give you a brief idea of what's going on meteorologically here, we have the low pressure here across Iowa and Missouri, Nebraska, eastern Kansas, and then we have this boundary here, this front. That's the warm front. Watch closely as it lifts north through the Midwest today and tonight. That's very important because the models may suggest dry time today, but we know that there is a lifting mechanism in the atmosphere that will easily initiate storm threats across eastern across Indiana and Ohio. And then, of course, we've got the cold front coming through later tonight and then exiting east tomorrow. So it's important to know that despite models suggesting some dry time, we have something in the atmosphere that can lift and initiate storms and will likely do that. So I'm just not sold on the dry time is what I'm trying to say. And here's the latest look at the convective outlook for strong storms today and tonight into Sunday morning. I think it's okay. I think it's missing some areas, say something like this, and the slight risk. I wouldn't be shocked to see it kind of pushed further north, main threats being damaging winds and isolated large hail. And the reason I expanded this area is because I think we get a wave of storms that initiates here across the border and pushes further east later tonight, and I'll show that here in a few seconds. So latest guidance via the 3 kilometer or via the HRRR, and I wanted to show this first because it's completely missing anything down here across southern Illinois, and that's important because if the model misses it, why would it be correct on its solution going forward? You can see it suggests a lot of dry time here across Ohio and Indiana throughout the day. And I just personally believe that's wrong. It's because we know that there's a warm front draped across the Midwest today, and there will likely be storms initiated off of that. I just don't think it's that scattered in nature. Here's the look at the 3 kilometer NAM. It does a little bit better. You can see it has that storminess, those showers down here across southern Illinois. And watch how different it is as we go through the morning. This is 10 a.m. We can see those storms starting to fire north across Indiana and eventually will make their way across Ohio. I do think some of these could be stronger in nature as well with very heavy rainfall. Getting by noon, remember the HRRR by noon here, I'll show you here. The HRRR by noon, completely dry across central Indiana. The 3 kilometer NAM says, hold on, we know there's a warm front there. Let's think about some storms in the forecast. I'm just not sold on the dry time. I'll say it once again. So just after noon, the showers and storms via the 3 kilometer NAM is pushing further east into Ohio, and most of the state of Indiana scattered here in Illinois. Maybe a little bit of a drier time here after noon before the next wave moves in. And by 5 p.m., some scattered storm threats starting to push east across Illinois. That's where I believe the slight risk is missing in Illinois into Indiana, because you'll notice, look at this. I mean, that's a pretty strong storm signature here across the Indiana-Illinois border by about 7 to 8 p.m. And then continuing throughout the rest of the night, we can see as that cold front starts to push east, so does increasing the shower and storm chance across the entire Midwest through tomorrow morning. I really think if the 3 kilometer NAM, which I have more confidence with, is correct, that showers and storms really are out of Illinois, Indiana, pushing by 9-10 a.m. tomorrow morning, and then pushing east through Ohio. I think for the majority of our locations, I think are out of here by about 4 p.m. So total rainfall with this event, again, this is guidance. I could seriously see some locations seeing 2 inches or more of rainfall, And you ask why? Why do you think that is? This is a look at precipitable water. So precipitable water in just simpler terms is how much moisture content is in the atmosphere. So when you see moisture content of 2 inches plus, that just screams that when it rains it pours. So usually the rule of thumb is if you have something that's 2 inches, it can rain that much in about 30 minutes. That's how heavy of rainfall we're talking here. And that just the risks need to be mentioned, guys. There's just a lot of differences in data today. High temperatures, I think there's going to be a vastly different temperatures between north and south where that warm front is today. I think up here northern Illinois, eastern Iowa, and then parts of northern Indiana will be in the 40s and 50s, while areas further south will be in the 70s and 80s. And then getting in on the day tomorrow, you can watch as that cold front starts to shift further east, 60s and 70s, but 40s and 50s are right behind it. So I hope I did a well enough job to discuss the risks for you. We're always here if you have any questions. I know the forecast is very volatile here. I'm just not sold on that dry time across Indiana and Ohio that the HRRR and other guidance suggests. So we'll continue to keep an eye on things. Just remember when planning your day to day that there is a chance of storms no matter what, because that warm front is hanging around. So I appreciate you hanging with me, and have a wonderful day.